And welcome to the news. As usual, the Wednesday package will touch the different geopolitical zones in the country, giving different angles to developing stories and amplifying the Nigerian perspective to international events. Of course, the nation is 6-4, and there are some questions on the journey so far that are being answered by today's helmsman. Tonight, police raids youth camp operated by International Employment Scam Syndicate in Lagos.
Now that the police is here, they are still not here to come and say why exactly they camped two people here?
Yes, and that also baffles us. Why are they not here with us? I don't know.
On security, Kebbi receives 19 kidnapped children, begin process of rehabilitation. Grateful citizens commend government agency.
We have the intention to collaborate with the state government to sensitize the community on danger of child trafficking, child labor, child abuse, which in most cases lead to organ harvest.
On transportation, NEDC electric vehicles ready for the Northeast. President is the first passenger. Plus, road to hell, Benin-Asaba Expressway, and the travails of commuters.
The road, almost every week, trucks normally fall here.
We have these and other stories on cue for you as Musa Abubakar minds the business tonight, while Badi Adeleye will be on the sport kicks on Sports Update. As we say on this shift, the proof of the pudding is in the eating. I'm Ian Ray John, and this is News Extra. Welcome. President Bola Tinubu has granted an express approval to the North-East Development Commission, NEDC, for the deployment of electric vehicles in its catchment states. The NEDC, along with its Chinese partners, presented the samples of the electric vehicles for exhibition at the State House. President Tinubu, alongside Vice President Kashim Shettima, inspected the vehicles, including a 40-passenger capacity bus, saloon cars, and 8-passenger capacity tricycles. The president expressed satisfaction, after which he approved that the commission should go ahead and deploy the e-mobility in the North-East region of the country. The chief executive officer of the commission, Muhammad Al-Khali, who briefed State House correspondents on this development, explained that the commission would, in the next 2 years, produce over 10,000 e-vehicles under this initiative. He said the commission has also obtained presidential approval to build 5 and 10 kVA modular solar power units in each of the 6 states within its jurisdiction as alternative sources of recharging the vehicles.
If we talk about gas-powered CNG, the gas has to come from somewhere because we don't have gas in the nose for now. But e-vehicle, what you need is the power to power all e-facilities. As part of the arrangement is for us to establish a very comprehensive composite charging facilities for all our e-facilities, e-vehicles or e-tricycle. This is already a part of the work plan which we are trying to do.
State House correspondent Musbah Odanwahab reports that the chief executive officer also explained that state governors within the sub-region have equally agreed to provide suitable locations for the construction of the modular solar units. Meanwhile, the federal government has commenced nationwide distribution of 2,000 compressed natural gas CNG-powered tricycles to some beneficiaries in Abuja. Olayinka Ojo reports that the event is part of activities to mark Nigeria's 64th independence anniversary.
In Nigeria today, there are more than 80 million commercial tricycles and motorcycle owners and riders. and the implementation of the presidential CNG initiative is to reduce the cost of transportation for Nigerians as well as enhance economic well-being by reducing dependence on premium motor spirits and expenditure on federal government fuel subsidy.
Thousands of youths across our country will be employed, not just in the operations of these tricycles, but also in the maintenance.
If you look at the budget of various ministries, departments and agencies, it contains a reasonable proportion of youth projects in their respective budgets.
Yesterday, we released 122 billion naira to 6 investors that are investing in the gas sector.
For the Tricycle Association members, the empowerment will not only lift their livelihood,
but will also support the administration goal of job creation, poverty, elevation, and environmental sustainability.
For the youth development ministers, plans are already in place to increase the number of CNG tricycles from 2,000 to 5,000 and will be distributed across states of the Federation and the FCT.
We are ready to hit the road and nothing but to hit the road.
This intervention will serve as a great relief to our people.
This event is in line with keeping to the promise of President Bola Tinubu to empower Nigerian youths for self-reliance. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
Still on the CNG initiative, President Bola Tinubu is deeply aware of the challenges of Nigerians, particularly the rise in transportation costs. He has made it clear that while we must confront these challenges head-on, we must also seek out innovative solutions that will ease the burden on the common man and ensure long-term sustainability. This was the statement of the Executive Secretary of the Nigeria Police Trust Fund, Mohammed Saidu, at the signing of a Memorandum of Understanding with the Presidential Initiative on CNG for the conversion of Nigeria Police Force vehicles.
With PCNG support, we will train and equip a select group of police mechanics with the technical expertise required to convert police vehicles from traditional fuels to CNG. This training will enable them to handle conversions, maintain CNG vehicles, and provide ongoing support.
We believe that the use of CNG will not only significantly reduce operational costs, enhance energy security, and contribute to a cleaner environment, but we also align with our national goal for energy diversification. Beyond the technology itself, this partnership is about empowerment. By building technical capacity within the Nigerian police force, we will ensure that officers are equipped with the right skills necessary to maintain and operate these systems efficiently and effectively.
This form reports that the Nigeria Police Trust Fund says it is committed to seeing this initiative through to the fullest. In the same vein, the federal government is committing 122 billion naira to 6 qualified gas companies as promoters of government gas initiatives through the midstream and downstream gas infrastructure refund. Minister of State Petroleum Resources, Gas Ekperikpe Ekpo, says the initiative is to fuel growth in gas processing, transportation, storage and distribution infrastructure. Lydia Sampson reports.
It is the first signing ceremony of the gas infrastructure promoters on the midstream downstream gas infrastructure fund agreement. Key players believe this collaboration is essential towards achieving Nigeria's target of transitioning from a crude oil-dependent economy to one driven by natural gas and its derivatives.
The intention of the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria to make sure that Nigeria is being driven by gas. And of course, like one of you have said, it is a cleaner way. We need to serve our environment, and that is how and why we need to go this route.
It is expected that the partnership between the public and private sectors, now with the goal of transforming the midstream gas value chain, will reflect President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's efforts and enthusiasm to improve and foster business relationships between the public and private sectors.
Please, we want to urge you to be diligent, to be committed, to show diligence in the execution of these projects.
Mr. President has a vision, and those of us in the Senate are ready to give the government all the support under the leadership of the Senate President, and we've been doing our best.
We will not only deliver, we will deliver safely, we will deliver on time, and we will deliver to ensure that we continue to bring gas to the last mile.
The 6 promoters were carefully chosen in compliance with the Midstream Downstream Gas Infrastructure Fund Investment Policy Statement on the Petroleum Industry Act 2021. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Let's now take a quick peep at the National Assembly as achieving economic transformation and poverty reduction and self-sufficiency in food production require acquisition of skills in advanced agricultural practices. This prompted the Senate to pass at second reading a bill seeking the establishment of Federal University of Agriculture and Tropical Studies, Abuja, Osun State, sponsored by the Senate leader, Okweyemi Bamidele. National Assembly correspondent Lamiali feeds us.
Agriculture, with its allied sectors, is unquestionably the largest livelihood provider, more also in the rural areas, and can contribute significantly to the GDP.
Senator Okweyemi Bamidele, while leading debate on the bill seeking the establishment of Federal University of Agriculture and Tropical Studies, also said the establishment of more agriculture-related institutions will help the back-to-land policy of the federal government.
We are saying we have to diversify this economy, and the only way to go is agric. We must produce manpower that will engage in modern agricultural production. One of the agitation now is that people should go back to the land. I don't want to go back to the hoes and cutlass type of farming. We want to modernize.
We should have this type of university, specialized university in all of our states in the country.
Senate has also passed for second reading the bill to establish the Federal University of Information and Communication Technology, Ikare Akoko, sponsored by Senator Olajide Ipinshagba.
It is our hope that the Federal University of Information and Communication Technology, Ikare Akoko, will serve as a premium incubation hub for information and technology scientists in sub-Saharan Africa.
Meanwhile, Senate has resolved to invite the Minister of Works over the abandoned New Ogbomoso-Oyo Road following a motion from Senator Abdul Fattah Buhari.
That the federal government embark on the reconstruction of the road by contracting different portions of the road to different contractors for quick completion. However, other portions had been completed, and Ogbomoso-Oyo Road is yet to be completed, as the contractor handling the portion has left the site, RCC.
It's given as a contract as far back as 2005. This road has become an eyesore to the ancient city of Ogbomoso.
Those of us that have been planning that road for a very long time, not just of recent, we know the importance of the artery that it has been to the south-north connection.
I want to join you to urge the relevant agencies of government to rise to the occasion in order to ameliorate the sufferings of Nigerians.
6 bills passed first reading, among them bill to establish Food Vendors Regulation Council of Nigeria, forwarded from the House of Representatives for concurrence. From the National Assembly, Lami Ali, NTA News.
And still in the National Assembly, but looking at the green side now, issues relating to equality and status of the presiding officers of Nigeria's bicameral legislature surfaced on the floor of the Green Chamber at Wednesday's plenary. The House of Representatives unanimously passed a resolution seeking amendments of the National Honours Act of 1964 to ensure parity in conferment of the national honour of Grand Commander of the Order of the Niger, GCON. National Assembly correspondent Mitari Ikben has all the details.
A motion of urgent public importance by Deputy House Spokesman Philip Agbese on behalf of the 360 members frowned at perceived discrimination in the conferment of national honors on the Senate President and the Speaker. Lawmakers were unanimous that the two chambers of the National Assembly and their presiding officers have equal status, irrespective of who occupies the offices.
Appropriately recognize the Speaker of the House of Representatives as co-head of the National Assembly and accordingly confer the national honor of GSON upon the Speaker, ensuring parity in recognition with the President of the Senate. This should be accomplished before the formal declaration by Mr. President.
The Speaker is the fourth in protocol. The CGN comes after. Today, the CGN is given the award, the honor of GCON. I think there is some mismatch, some mix-up.
The issues here, they have to do with history, with tradition, with correcting past injustices and miscarriage of recognition and constitutional order.
The Constitution did not mention that a chamber is higher than any other chamber.
Those in support of this motion as amended should say aye. Those against should say nay. That is have it. This motion is referred to an ad hoc committee to be chaired by the House Leader, and membership of the committee will include all the 6 zonal caucus leaders.
In other resolutions, the House urged the President to look into what it calls over-representation of 2 states in the governing board of the Northwest Development Commission, awaiting Senate confirmation.
The Act stipulates that each state in the Northwest must have 1 representative on the governing board. However, Jigawa and Kano each have 2 representatives. To call on President Bola Ahmed Tinubu to review and rectify appointment to the NWDC governing board.
The House also received a report of its Committee on Public Assets, which investigated the sale of 2 Bell helicopters by the Nigerian College of Aviation Technology, Zaria. From the National Assembly, Mitaire Ikben, NTA News.
Away from the National Assembly now, let's look at other issues. As the Nigerians in Diaspora Commission, NITCOM, is urging Nigerians resident in Lebanon to consider moving out of the country now that commercial flights are still in operation, going by attacks on Hezbollah and other areas in Lebanon by Israel. A statement from the Commission notes that there are feelers from the Nigerian community in Lebanon that most Nigerians have relocated from the southern part and are now relatively safe. They are, however, being advised to liaise with Nigerian embassy in Lebanon for necessary guidance and keep safe until the ceasefire is in place. No Nigerian has been recorded to have any form of accident or injury, and wish to advise them to continue to remain safe and be assured that their welfare and safety are of utmost concern to President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has departed Abuja for the United Kingdom for a 2-week vacation, part of his yearly leave. The president departed through the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport at about 2:30 p.m. this Wednesday. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, George Akume, and Chief of Staff, Femi Gbajagbaamila, were among the top government functionaries who bid the president farewell. A statement by the Presidential Advisor on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, indicates that the president will spend the 2 weeks as a working vacation and a retreat to reflect on his administration's economic reforms. He's expected to return after the leave expires. This is News Extra. More to come after the break. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us. One of the public institutions that felt the huge impact of the 9th September devastating flood in Maiduguri and its environs is Brigadier Musa Usman Secretariat, which is home to all the ministries in Borno State. Not only was the entire ground floor under the water for more than a week, but smooth governance in the state was affected owing to the engine room status it provides. Abubakar Musa is here to tell us how life is gradually returning to the bubbling edifice almost 3 weeks after the flood came hitting.
That was Mustafa Kolomi, currently a chief driver with the Ministry of Health, who started working at the Secretariat in 1987, narrating his traumatic experience brought by the 9th September flood disaster. The flood has not only caused the entire ground to be submerged, thereby destroying computers, files, shelves, and other related accessories, but prevented a significant percentage of civil servants from coming to work. Though workers are currently operating at the middle and upper floors following complete receding of the flood waters, most of the offices on the ground floor are not habitable for normal official work to continue.
For nearly 3 weeks now, we have not given services in the Secretariat adequately as it should be.
The Office of the State Accountant General in charge of payment of salaries, gratuities and pensions, among other entitlements, is among offices badly affected by the disaster.
We have an alternative office. We are using the Finance Conference Center, and fortunately, it affected only the ground floor. So we have some offices now that we have access upstairs.
The Musa Usman State Secretariat no doubt remains a catalyst towards propelling the civil service to greatness. As such, NTA News crew deemed it imperative to find out what government is doing to ensure total restoration of official activities within the facility.
Measures are put in place through the Flood Committee and the relevant ministries to undertake a massive cleanup of the Secretariat.
As it is right now, workers are making frantic efforts to retrieve some valuable documents by continuously sun-drying, dusting, as well as cleaning.
One aspect worthy of taking away from here is that despite the unquantifiable devastation done to the revered Musa Usman State Secretariat in Maiduguri, civil servants have kept faith in God, believing that it is only Him that can make them recover the properties lost, as well as forget the traumatic experience towards forging ahead officially. In Maiduguri, Abubakar Musa, NTA News.
Many thanks, Abubakar. And still on the recent flooding incident in Borno State, the federal government has inaugurated an inter-ministerial technical committee on evaluation of dams in Nigeria. The committee, which is to be headed by the Minister of Water Resources and Sanitation, is to enable the country mitigate issues leading to perennial flooding across the nation. Usman Zubairu reports.
Nigeria has more than 340 dams across the country, comprising 142 large dams, 59 medium and 207 small dams, which serve various purposes, including water supply, irrigation and hydropower generation. Investigations revealed that most of these dams, constructed over many decades, were designed with spillways to allow free flow of water and facilities in compliance with international standards. In spite of that, the country has experienced the collapse of dams and reservoirs. The recent one is that of Maiduguri flood. In response to this development, the federal government saw the need to constitute an interministerial committee to evaluate dams in the country. The technical committee has the overall primary objectives of evaluating the physical condition of dams, assessing the social and environmental implications of the collapse of dams on local community, and draw up programs to tackle these challenges.
Go to the field to do a real evaluation of the situation, report back to this committee that will in turn produce a comprehensive report to government so that government will address this issue completely.
Just before the commencement of the heaviest of the rainy season, for every state in the Federation were given funds runs into billions in order to prepare themselves.
All northern crannies of this country, both the old dams and the new dams that need to be constructed, they're going to be done.
Infrastructure fund, which have anticipated that we need to rehabilitate dams.
In Abuja, Usman Zubairu, NTA News.
Away from flood-related issues now, the Bank of Industry has announced an additional lifeline for Nigeria's manufacturing industry. This means that a total of 140 companies will receive 1 billion naira each to enhance production. As part of the government's broader initiative to support micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, Moplang Dakok reports that the announcement was made at the Bank of Industry's inaugural annual lecture in Abuja.
The lecture, which marks the bank's 65th anniversary, focused on providing solutions to critical issues such as poverty and food insecurity and how financial inclusion can drive economic growth. Financial support like the latest one by the Bank of Industry, as well as capacity development and digital literacy, were highlighted as major tools for MSMEs to make real impact.
At the Bank of Industry, addressing any gaps that exist to the development of MSMEs is also at the heart of His Excellency President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's renewed agenda. MSMEs remain top priority, but the digital economy, youth and skills, climate and sustainability, infrastructure and gender are also critical areas.
This initiative by His Excellency demonstrates that this government indeed values our businesses, and we are always ready and willing to assist them when the need arises.
The modernization of development finance regulatory framework will enhance access for MSMEs. The reduction of financial resources costs and the simplification of guarantee terms of credit.
In addition, the bank has launched the Bank of Industry Journal of Development Finance, the Bank of Industry Journal of Development Review, and the Price Intelligence Project. The bank also unveiled its new mobile app designed to make its services more accessible. So far this year, the bank has disbursed loans totaling 77.65 billion naira to an estimated 1,000 MSMEs across the country. The theme of the lecture series is Creating Impact, the role of MSME support and financing in alleviating poverty and food insecurity in Nigeria. Moplang Dakok, NTA News.
We've got more business updates, but Musa Babaka has this one. Musa.
Thank you, Ray. For Nigeria to achieve inclusive growth and development beyond oil and gas, entrepreneurship must be given the needed attention at all levels to drive wealth creation in all sectors of the economy. This is the view of an entrepreneur, coach, engineer, Nnamdi Onachukwu, on consolidating the success of Nigerian entrepreneurship ecosystem since independence.
Groom more entrepreneurs, and the way to do this, groom these more entrepreneurs is for those that are already in need, to mentor those that are upcoming, and also see how the corporate organizations can support the initiative to groom more entrepreneurs. We need to look at it from mid to long-term plan. And the initiative I drive today is that catch them young. We need more entrepreneurs. We need to catch them young. So catching them young means grooming them when they are still young, when they have not formed opinion about life, inculcating them the mindset of an entrepreneur, and get them to think, to have that intention. When they have that intention, we serve as plan B for them when they are graduating from college or from the university.
The federal government has introduced two major fiscal incentives to boost the oil and gas sector. The VAT Modification Order 2024 exempts certain energy products and infrastructure such as diesel, LPG, CNG, electric vehicles and LNG infrastructure to reduce living costs, enhance energy security and support cleaner energy transition. Additionally, the notice of tax incentives for deep offshore oil and gas production offers tax reliefs for deep offshore projects aiming to attract global investment. These initiatives, unveiled by Finance Minister Wale Edun, align with President Tinubu's policy goals to enhance Nigeria's competitiveness in the industry. And to the capital market, the equities market began the midweek session in negative territory after the Independence Day celebration. The all-share index shed 0.33% to close at 98,232.39 points at the end of today's trading session. A total of 426 million shares in 11,954 deals, corresponding to a market value of 8.5 billion naira, were traded. Equity capitalization decreased to 56.5 trillion naira. United Bank for Africa recorded the highest volume of 108 billion traded shares, followed by Zenith Bank, Veristas Capital Assurance, and Ella Lakes. As a quick look at business news, Nyere is back to you.
Well, thanks, Musa, for the update. Let's head to the Center of Excellence now, where living up to their billing in protecting lives and property, men and officers of the Nigeria Police Force, following a distress call, swung into action and rescued 210 young Nigerians at Oniru Estate in Lagos. Larry Gbeley reports.
Total of 210 Nigerian, made of 50 females and 160 males, were discovered living at an abode called Easy Home Scott 2, a twin two-story building with 18 two-bedroom flats, when raided by the police. Each of the flats housed 32 persons who claimed they were recruited online from various states of the Federation to work for a Chinese company in Lagos, but do not know the names of their employer.
We help them advertise their product, then advise customers to like the product.
Okay, what is this product that they want you to, get people to like?
They have a lot of product on the line.
Can you name some of them?
They sell phones, they sell accessories, everything. They sell a lot of things on the line.
And now that the police is here, they are still not here to come and say why exactly they come to people here?
Yes, and that also baffles us. Why are they not here with us? I don't know.
From what we've uncovered so far, I don't think we're going to call it arrest. We're going to call it rescue. Like we went there to rescue those people. It's more like they are being exploited by a company, and the staff of that company are currently at large.
The police has the right to detain, to question, and so that is what they are currently doing.
The Lagos Police Public Relations Officer says investigation is still ongoing on the matter, and they will keep us posted as events unfolds. On a viral video on the social media about some women who claim to be in detention with the men in a police station, the Lagos Police PRO cleared the air on the development.
It's actually a holding area, a holding cell. When people are arrested and brought in, we have to keep them somewhere, pending when they will be screened or interrogated.
The police, however, urged Nigerians to always consider the other side of any post on social media to have a balanced view. In Lagos, Larry Gbeley, NTA News.
Meanwhile, zero tolerance against corruption and promoting rule of law, transparency and accountability remains a cardinal objective of the present administration. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi, SAN, re-echoed this at the inauguration of a strategic action plan against corruption developed by the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC. We now bring you the report.
Imagine how much Nigeria is losing to illicit financial flows annually if more than 13 billion naira can be recovered in a month. Well, that's the sad reality, as disclosed by the chairman of ICPC, Musa Adamu Aliu, who hinted that the commission recovered that amount in just September. There's no doubt, if judiciously utilized, experts say, will have positive impact not just on the economy, but infrastructural development. To tackle corruption, the ICPC is implementing 5-year strategic master plan starting this year with a specific mandate to track and recover looted funds.
The plan will undoubtedly empower the ICPC to address emerging challenges, adapt to evolving threats, and more effectively carry out its mandate.
This SAP is in line with our Care for Impact initiative, which focus on good culture, accountability, responsibility, and efficiency.
We are in a joint task force to ensure that Nigeria is fighting corruption at its to the barest minimum.
With the action plan on ground, experts emphasize on timely implementation of the process.
Planning alone is not enough.
What is extremely important is the implementation, the ability, the commitment.
Is to ensure that the monies that they spend, are focused on those strategic areas that are contained in the action plan.
Highlights of the event includes the unveiling of the Ethics Pod, a podcast aimed at engaging citizens in the fight against corruption through resisting, stopping, and reporting the menace.
19 kidnapped children, including a 4-year-old rescued by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, from Calabar, are receiving necessary attention from the Kebbi State government. Governor Nasir Idris made this known while receiving the rescued children at the Kebbi State Government House in Birini, Kebbi. Correspondent Abdul Jalil Mohammed Bawa has details.
19 underage children trafficked from Kebbi State have been located in Calabar by the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, after receiving a tip-off. Some of the rescued children were said to be subjected to sexual abuse and forced labor, leading to psychological trauma. During the handover of the rescued children to Kebbi State government, NAPTIP commander in Kebbi State, Musbahu Iyakaura, announced that 3 suspects were arrested in connection with the trafficking.
We have the intention to collaborate with the state government to sensitize the community on danger of child trafficking, child labor, child abuse, which in most cases lead to organ harvest.
Governor Nasir Idris urged parents to closely monitor their children, emphasizing that the state government prioritizes the protection of children's rights.
Let this achievement serve as a warning to those who seek to exploit and harm our children. We will not tolerate such evil in our dear states, and we will continue to work tirelessly to bring in perpetrators to justice.
To support the rescued children's recovery, Governor Idris directed the provision of necessary resources for rehabilitation and prosecution of the suspects. In Birnin Kebbi, Abdul Jalil Mohammed Bawa, NTA News.
Another break is due. Please stay with us. Thank you for remaining with us. Now let's look at the power sector. As 64 years of nationhood, Nigeria's power sector is work in progress with reforms and interventions to build a sector that will stimulate economic growth and development of the country. Joshua Ojitu in this report takes a look at the journey so far from a monopolistic to a competitive electricity market.
What began with just 60 kilowatts of electricity generated from a power plant in 1896 in Lagos has grown to a national grid with an installed generation capacity of more than 11,000 megawatts. That is the story of Nigeria's power sector as the country strives to achieve available and affordable electricity supply. From Electricity Company of Nigeria (ECN) to National Electric Power Authority (NEPA), Power Holding Company of Nigeria (PHCN) to the unbundled and privatized power sector, the efforts of federal government are in a bid to find solutions to challenges in the power sector and increase electricity supply.
After independence, the government was actually supportive of a deliberate effort to ensure that power was distributed.
Now, Nigeria has more than 20 generation companies, 11 distribution companies, and a transmission company of Nigeria jointly owned by public and private players.
We are building new substations. We are reinforcing the old substation with new transformers, some 150 MVA, some 300, some 60 MVA. Then we are also building new transmission line, both 330 and 132. We are also doing what is called conducting. That means changing the cable, the conductor, so that that line can carry more power.
Nigeria has also adopted energy transition to reduce emission and provide electricity to unserved and underserved communities through renewable energy sources and off-grid mini solutions.
From in Southshade area has facilitated the development of different renewable energy generation capacity to the level of 860 megawatts if you now factor the grid extension capabilities that we have done. And through all that, we impacted about 7.8 million lives in the country. We have connected 1.8 million houses. We have developed 150 mini grids and also deployed over 1.5 million solar home systems across the country.
While reflecting on the past and inspiring the future of the power sector, Nigeria birthed new Electricity Act in 2023 and amended the 1999 Constitution, which decentralized the sector and enabled subnationals to establish the electricity market.
Unlike those days when it was only one ECN that we had, that's the Electricity Company of Nigeria, one National Electric Power Authority, NEPA, and one PHCN, Power Holding Company of Nigeria. Now, we have generation companies spread across the country, the hydropower plants in the Middle Belt area of the country. We have the thermal plants, which is the gas-fired power plants, the Niger Delta area, towards the Midwestern area, and some parts of Southwest. You understand? And we also have solar mini grids, solar microgrids springing up all across the country because of the good sunlight that we have. Now, the power sector is getting closer to the people. You have distribution companies across the length and breadth of Nigeria in all the regions.
64 years of nationhood with reforms and interventions by the federal government and industry players, customers are hopeful of improved power supply nationwide. Joshua Ojito, NTA News.
Well said, Joshua. Of course, every Nigerian looks forward to constant electricity and with no grid collapse, of course. Away from the power sector now, there is no doubt that road network in Nigeria forms the arteries that keep the nation's socio-economic heart beating. Correspondent Larry Bilei focuses on this crucial sector of the nation's developmental goal and the future it holds as the nation clocks 64.
Road network in Nigeria since independence has always been part of primary infrastructural development and has increased, especially during the 1970s when the need to annex more towns, cities and villages that have socio-economic advantages into the network for economic development to become a reality. Road and highway engineers, while going through the records, affirmed that road networking in Nigeria became important, that successive governments were sometimes compelled to pay attention to it, despite other equally important sectors competing for attention.
As at 1960, when we were having our independence, there were just about 65,704 kilometers of road networks in Nigeria. And of course, the surface part of that kind of road then was about 8,674 kilometers. And between the time, after independence, between the time of 1960 and 1975, we had on our own increased that road network from 65,000 to about 95,375 kilometers.
They also called for increased private sector involvement, not only in construction, but in maintenance of the roads, giving leverage for government at all levels in the country to spread budgetary allocations equitably.
We need the reform. The reform will now bring other investors because government alone, the budgetary allocation cannot maintain our road, cannot build our roads. The road sector fund, whereby the funding on the road sector does not rely on government allocation.
They are convinced that in the nearest future, road network will not be only for socio-economic reasons, but as a means of unifying the different ethnic groups. In Lagos, Larry Bilei, NTA News.
And still on Nigeria at 6-4 with the theme Honoring the Past and Inspiring the Future. Government is committed to finding local solutions to national challenges, and its programs and policies are testaments to shared commitment to youth development, which genuinely reflects the aspirations of the youths. Olainka Ojo in this report takes a look at some of government's programs aimed at reducing youth restiveness as well as empowering Nigerian youths.
Nigeria is rich, and I know that Nigeria can do better at this stage where we are.
Nigeria is a nation blessed with abundant natural resources and youthful population brimming with potential. But youth unemployment is one of the greatest challenges Nigeria faces today.
Most people of my age limit or above, for the youths, they don't have jobs.
Stomach infrastructure is necessary. Lack of practical, vocational and technical training further exacerbates the problem, leaving young people without tools they need to succeed in industries that require hands-on expertise. Government's educational reforms today lays emphasis on a curriculum that aligns with the demands of the job market. This is being done through a government public-private sector approach that fosters job creation through policies and programs that promote industrialization, innovation, and investment.
The National Youth Investment Fund. The fund was approved by the Federal Executive Council. This fund will serve as a cornerstone for youth empowerment, bridging the gap between ambition and opportunity.
The president have also made provision for what we call the NTA, Nigerian Youth Academy, which everybody can be inside their house, free of charge, to learn skills. Our target is to train 7 million youth in 2-3 years.
For the National Youth Service Corps,
77K, I think it will go a long way for us.
And I can also use it to empower myself, like if I want to learn something new.
So we, the country, need to also believe in ourselves, at the same time believe in what the government wants to do for us, so that Project Nigeria can be fruitful for everyone.
Government support in its skills acquisition and entrepreneurship program has continued to receive accolades, as there are more than 40,000 ex-corps members who have established businesses through SAID program. More than 3.3 Youth Corps members have been sensitized on entrepreneurship development, with more than 500,000 receiving various levels of training.
Some of them they started with soft loan, with non-interest, some with a grant without even payment, because we're in collaboration with so many credible agencies that are prepared to assist these young Nigerians.
As Nigeria continues to celebrate her independence, there is the need for a coordinated approach to maximize the impact of youth development efforts across the country. Olainka Ojo, NTA News.
And still talking about youths, let's head to Yobe State now, where 28-year-old Saidu Abdurrahman, an indigene of Potiskum town of Yobe State, has attempted to break the World Guinness record by producing 897 most headshots of photography in 60 minutes. The event, which took place at the premises of Government Day Secondary School, Potiskum, was aimed at encouraging students pick interest in the profession in order to be self-reliant after graduating from school. Adam Yusuf Ali reports.
Teachers and students of Government Day Secondary School Potiskum, as well as well-wishers, gathered to witness the first of its kind in the state, an attempt to break World Guinness record by producing 897 most headshots of photographs. The student queued up for the commencement of the event as Saidu Abdurrahman cheerfully commenced the photograph shots with SS3 students, while the judge and the timekeeper watched keenly. When the next 60 minutes clocked, the photographer recorded 897 most headshots, preceding his targets of 600 shots, as his wife, Hawa Saidu, could not hide her tears of joy.
So far now we have snapped 897 pictures. I have undergone many challenges, struggles.
In northern Nigeria, we want to reincarnate and make people realize the importance of photography and how to make youths involved more in the photography things.
I think that's something to be proud of. I think we all should be proud of him for this daring attempt and for actually succeeding in it. And I just hope that the Guinness World Records will actually see this as something worthy of commendation and to actually certify and screen the pictures and give him his title.
It is believed supporting talented upcoming youths of such will create job opportunities, especially now that access to white-collar jobs are difficult. In Damatru, Adam Yusuf Ali, NTA News.
Elsewhere, a new study known as Enable 1.5 is ushering in insights into the ever-evolving world of Lassa fever, driven by the Nigerian Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NSCDC, and backed by the Coalition for Epidemic Preparedness Innovations, CEPI. This research digs into the mutation and epidemiology of the deadly virus, aiming to edge closer to a licensed vaccine for the country. Olusheye Adiagbo would tell us more.
Lassa fever, an acute viral hemorrhagic illness caused by Lassa virus, is confirmed to be endemic in 8 West African countries, Nigeria inclusive.
Enable 1.5 project open.
Developing a safe and effective Lassa vaccine across 15 West African countries to save more than 3,000 lives over 10 years and avert up to $128 million in societal cost is the goal of these experts.
We're riding on the results of 1.0 and also the gaps that we identified in 1.0. We have children under 2 that will be involved, and then we have the co-infection with malaria that will also be checked.
They have given us the real picture of which strain that is circulating in Nigeria, the strain that is circulating in Sierra Leone, and also in Liberia. Though these strains are even related, and this has enabled us to see that there is that possibility of having a candidate vaccine.
The Coalition for Endemic Preparedness Innovation, CEPI, one of the Lassa fever research leading funders, had assembled 23,000 participants across West Africa since 2019. And this latest study tagged Enable 1.5 is to deepen understanding of Lassa fever transmission.
So CEPI, as part of its mission, decided to invest in this neglected disease, really to support the people in West Africa to fight this threat. We have invested more than $250 million in the development of a Lassa fever vaccine.
But on top of that, build the necessary capacities within the countries and within our partners in Nigeria and other countries in order to be able to really prepare for the great work that lies ahead.
Partners of the cause, including Nigeria Health Watch, share optimism of expertise and smooth runs of the project. In Abuja, Olusheye Adiagbo, NTA News.
Away from health now, let's talk IT. One of the goals of the current administration is to provide a digitized, citizen-centered governance system. Well, the Ministry of Communications, Innovation and Digital Economy is actualizing this goal as it sets up a government service portal, a single website for all citizens to access all government services. Chimdima Ondubisi has the details.
For Chuks to register for his driver's license, international passport, national identification number, or access any other government service, he will have to log on to individual websites of those government establishments providing such services or physically visit the offices. This is often cumbersome and leads to one accessing a cloned or fake government website. But from December this year, it will be a different experience, as all ministries, departments and agencies will have their services on a singular website. Galaxy Backbone, the authorized government data host entity, is housing the portal.
Establish a one government cloud, and that is essentially to ensure that the sovereignty of Nigeria's digitization, as well as the security, interoperability, and of course uniformity of work across government is brought to bear. It is about empowering citizens by enabling them to access essential services from locations around the world, thus saving time, resources, Also, the government service portal will foster greater transparency and accountability.
The whole idea is to bring all public services to one website wherein citizens can log in, a single login. We're starting with 12 MDAs and 15 services for the initial proof of concepts, and then the idea is to add more on board. Each of these agencies also need to be digitalized on their own before they can move to the portal.
Korea International Cooperation Agency, KOICA, brought in funds and technical support.
At KOICA, we view the GSP as a key example of digital governance of Nigeria in action.
The drivers of these services have been sensitized on how to actively contribute in sustaining the project, which allows for real-time information sharing among agencies and pivotal for developing the broader digital public infrastructure, DPI. In Abuja, Chimdema Ndibisi, NTA News.
In other news, the Association of Hajj and Umrah Operators of Nigeria is appealing to the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria, NACON, to carry it along when engaging Saudi service providers to better serve Nigerian pilgrims in Saudi Arabia. This was at a media briefing by the association, which alleged that NACON is denying it some rights.
AHUN have written 5 different letters to the Commission. But it was only on the 24th of September 2024 that the Commission deemed it necessary to respond to just one out of the 5 different letters written to NACON. And that letter was short of addressing our numerous and rightful demands.
Let's pause here. News Extra continues shortly. Thank you for staying with us. Male tourists and travelers plying the Asaba-Benin Expressway are appealing to federal government to fix this very important road as it has become impassable. Susan Esu reports that some male tourists have been stuck on the road for more than a week now.
Benin Expressway is one of the federal government's routes linking most of the southwestern states to the east. This road is always a beehive during the Yuletide. Travelers and motorists are becoming apprehensive as the SNA access of the road is now impassable. Commuters say there may be no way in and out of the east if something is not done urgently.
The road, almost every week, trucks normally fall here or that junction of SNA. It's too bad and it's too wrong. We are pleading to this federal government to come to the rescue of Delta.
This one don't scatter here. No road to go. Some don't stay almost 1 week for here.
As a member of task force, we have our own work, but we are also here to assist the motorists. Some of them, we assist them for diversion so that they will not end up locking up themselves to the traffic.
We are heading towards the Xmas period, where people are traveling from different areas, you know, coming in and going out. Look at the road, it's bad. It's bad. This is not what we want.
This road is said to have been awarded to a contractor by the federal government, but its deplorable state is becoming worrisome.
The government have awarded a contract for the rehabilitation of the entire stretch. And so we are pleading that they try as much as possible to get the contractor to speed up the process. I wouldn't know what is causing so much delay. What's worsening it is also the issue of the rainy season. So even if you are going to fix the route, you can only carry out some remedial measures at the moment.
The people are, however, pleading with the federal government to expedite action as the Yuletide is fast approaching. In Asaba, Susan Esu, NTA News.
That road between the Heartbeat and the Big Heart needs urgent attention. Now let's head to Jigawa State, where the Governor Umar Namadi has flagged off free healthcare services to the vulnerable population in the state. The flagging off ceremony held at the Government House Banquet Hall in Dutse, the state capital. Umar Namadi says it is a fulfillment of his campaign promise to Jigawa people. Muhammad Musa Askira has details.
I am happy with this initiative. May God bless him.
This is the crowd of beneficiaries of the free basic healthcare services introduced by Umar Namadi administration to cater for the health needs of those who are not financially positioned to afford healthcare services across the state. It is comprised of physically challenged, aged and the poorest of the poor, drawn from the 287 political wards in the state. 143,500 number of these people enrolled for the free basic healthcare program were selected, 500 from each of the 287 political wards of Jigawa State.
The health sector has seen a tremendous leap to confirm His Excellency's vision of 12-point agenda, which prioritizes health, education, agriculture, employment and empowerment.
Governor Umar Namadi, who appreciates Jigawa development partners for their support to make this program happen, assures the Jigawa people of an improved, qualitative and effective healthcare system that will guarantee the health needs of all citizens in the state.
We have over the last 1 year taken several initiatives aimed at improving the quality and affordability of healthcare services at all levels, including primary and secondary healthcare services as well as the tertiary. This includes the improvement, revitalization, and the expansion of infrastructure, recruitment and deployment of critical health manpower, and the review and improvement of DRL.
The program is being implemented by the State Ministry of Health through the Jigawa Contributory Healthcare Management Agency, JICHMA. In Duty, Muhammad Musa Askira, NTA News.
We now return to a previous story on Hajj operations.
Of Hajj and Umrah Operators of Nigeria, AHUN, is an umbrella body of operators created by an act established in the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria and licensed to airlift pilgrims to Saudi Arabia and provide for their welfare. The association, during a media briefing in Abuja, was concerned over the serious denial of the regulatory body remittances by the National Hajj Commission, thereby impeding its smooth operations.
AHUN have written 5 different letters to the Commission, but it was only on the 24th of September 2024 that the Commission deemed it necessary to respond to just one out of the 5 different letters written to NACON. And that letter was short of addressing our numerous and rightful demands.
In a swift reaction, NACON Commissioners for Policy, Personnel Management, Finance and that of Operations said the Commission complied with laid-down procedures in meeting the entitlements of the association.
For their claims, we are making report to them. If there's no complaint against them that their services, the service they deliver to them, they are not satisfied, then their report can be released to them.
We've been meeting with the tour operators. We've been discussing with them on their caution deposits. 30 companies have written to request for their refund of their caution deposits, which is very much in progress anytime soon. And 30 yet to decide on their refund or a rollover. AHUN came up with some requests with their legal, and us on our side with our legal should come together and look at what the Act talk about, which we did in this room.
Out of the 90,000 slots allotted to Nigeria by Saudi Arabia, NACON allots 70,000 to the Tour Association.
Another break is due. Please remain tuned. Let's look at a foreign scene quickly now, as British Prime Minister has vowed to put ties with the European Union on a positive footing as he kicked off the first visit to Brussels aimed at rebooting relations after the rancor of Brexit. In other news, Gabon presented a case at the International Court of Justice in a dispute with Equatorial Guinea over oil-rich islands. Details of these stories with Justin Bem-Unyi.
British Prime Minister Keir Starmer has promised a reset with the European Union, but since taking power in July has given few details about how to improve on the painstakingly negotiated deals governing ties since the UK quit the bloc. During a joint press conference, both leaders condemned the Tuesday attack by Iran on Israel.
The European Union therefore continues to call for a ceasefire.
We do need to pull back from the brink and to encourage all parties to find a way to de-escalate and for a political solution.
Similarly, UN Secretary-General Antonio Guterres has called for an end to the sickening cycle of escalation in the Middle East, where conflict rages between Israel, Iran, its allies, Hezbollah and Hamas.
It's high time to stop the sickening cycle of escalation after escalation that is leading the people of the Middle East straight over the cliff.
In other news, Gabon has claimed sovereignty over 3 islands in oil-rich waters, telling the International Court of Justice the matter had already been settled by a 1974 treaty disputed by Equatorial Guinea. The 2 West African nations have been squabbling over the 30-hectare island of Mbaini and 2 smaller low-lying islets, Kokotia and Konga, since the early 1970s. The islands are tiny and virtually uninhabited, but lie in an area potentially rich in oil and gas. Justin Bemunyi, NTA News.
Bade Adeleye is here for sports news. Bade, feed
News Extra.
Well, thanks, Bade, for the fillers. Away from sports news now, President Bola Tinubu condoles the family of Oluwole Johnson on the passing of the patriarch Ben Oluwole Johnson. The US-based business executive and estate magnate passed away on September 17, 2024 in Illinois at 72. Recounting their shared interactions in Chicago, Illinois, President Tinubu noted that throughout their encounters, the former governorship aspirant of Ondo State and Chief Executive Officer of Benno Management and Development Company, whom he fondly called Mr. Ben, consistently demonstrated his intellectual prowess and business acumen, never shying away from showcasing his brilliance. The president also recalled Mr. Ben's extraordinary philanthropy, particularly his significant role in securing and donating over $42 million of hospital equipment to Nigeria, focusing on Lagos State. The statement indicates that he will be buried on the 5th of this month. Also, the death has been announced of Charles Onwora Augustine Anakwe, aged 79. A statement by Ogochukwu Olisemeka Anakwe on behalf of the family indicates that there will be a wake at his compound, Aba Village, Nimo, Injikoka local government area on Thursday, 3rd October 2024 by 5 p.m. Friday, 4th October, body leaves Beckett Memorial Hospital for lying in state at his compound. Funeral mass will be at the Assumption Catholic Church, Nimo, by 10 o'clock in the morning on the same day. Interment follows immediately, and there will be a Thanksgiving service at the Assumption Catholic Church, Nimo, at 9 a.m. And survived by wife, children, and grandchildren. And that's News Extra tonight. Many thanks for investing your time with us. Do have a great night.